to episode number 9 of My Trucking Life. Truth, Trucking, and Tribulations from the Trucker's Table. In our last episode, episode number 8, I was at MSJ Trucking, and I'd had a couple of accidents. And their insurance would no longer cover me. And so they gave me the opportunity to resign rather than just out and out fire me. So they brought me in, talked to me, explained everything to me. And they said, look, if you go ahead and resign, one of the ladies that worked there at the company in the logbook department, her daughter was the safety director over at another company in the next city over, a little city called Andalusia, Alabama. And so they said, we can get you a job there driving for them. The name of that company was Pierce Trucking, and it was out of Andalusia, Alabama. So I said, okay, I understand. That'd be great. I appreciate it. Thank y'all. Because I'm the one that screwed up. I'm the one that got in the wrecks, And just to touch on the wrecks, I think I might have touched on them in the previous episode. I'm not sure. Anyway, I was trying to hurry up and get home in one of them, and I was driving a smidge too fast, and I went on a get-off ramp there in Hammond, Louisiana. It's different than it is now. They've reconfigured it since, but it was a lot more sharper, less of an incline, and so it's more flat. And as I went around, my trailer was real light. It broke traction. It just started raining and everything, and just spun around, and I went around backwards and rolled down the embankment and totaled out the truck and trailer. The second wreck happened a couple of months after that. And about 3 or 4 months after that, I was coming back out of Dallas, Texas, there before you get to the TA in Terrell. And where 80 and 20 and all merged together. And the traffic got kind of heavy, and an 18-wheeler passed me, got over in front of me, and there wasn't a lot of space in between us. He more or less squeezed in between me and the car in front of him because he wanted to get off at the TA, as my guess. I think that's what it was. Anyway, the car in front of him decided they wanted to get off. They slammed on brakes and got over. And when they did, I had not backed up far enough yet, and so I couldn't stop. And he was hauling flatbed, hauling I-beams, and it just destroyed the front of the radiator and the truck and everything. And paint everywhere inside the trailer because I was hauling Benjamin Moore paint at the time. But anyway, between those 2 wrecks in less than 6 months, the insurance couldn't cover me. So I went over to Pierce Trucking, and a wonderful lady over there, and they helped me get on over there and get settled in and everything. And I was more or less living out of the truck because, I was at a point in my life where I don't know. I felt like I was just slowly killing myself, I wouldn't hardly ever get out of the truck. More or less was just living in the truck, I'd order food, have it delivered to the truck, kind of things. And I was killing myself. It was a slow death. And so I drove there, and it was, I want to say a Freightliner. If I'm not mistaken, I think it was the mid-roof, the one you can stand up in just barely. Freightliner, and like a FLD. And anyway, we were hauling paper and scrap paper and different things like that. And I remember leaving Bruton, Alabama, and I had paper, and I was coming around a curve, going over to get on I-65 out of Bruton, and there was a van coming towards me, a full-size conventional van, and I saw the woman in the van. I could see him coming towards me. Everything looked fine, but you know how you always look ahead anyway. So I'm looking, I'm watching, and all of a sudden I see her start easing over into my lane, and I'm slowing down, trying to, and it didn't stop. They just kept coming over, and the van was almost halfway into my lane. And just when they got within like maybe 50 feet of me, I could see a kid or something over here. She was doing something with the kid, and about that time she looked up and saw me and snatched the van and tried to get back over. By now I'm already off the road. I'm on the shoulder, half on the pavement, half on the shoulder, and the shoulder was soft where they'd been working, and the truck just kind of right on over. I wasn't going that fast because I'd already started slowing down, but the momentum of the speed, me slowing down and then the soft shoulder, the truck just kind of rolled over on its side. It wasn't a real violent, boom kind of wreck. It was just, any wrecks, I guess, is by definition violent. But anyway, it rolled over on its side, and I was inside. I wasn't really injured that bad, you know, maybe a bruise or two. And so they called paramedics, and everybody came out. And I couldn't climb out. I was just too big. I couldn't get out. And they tried tying a rope around me, a strap or something around me, and pulled me out through the thing with a vehicle, try to pull me up through the, and that wouldn't work. It was hurting me. So they ended up cutting the roof of the truck to get me out of the truck. Because I was so freaking big. They took me to the hospital there in Bruton, Alabama. And this was in 2006. And I take that back. It was 2005. And I just felt like I was going to die. And I talked to the doctor, and I said, "Doctor, I need help. If I don't get help, I'm going to die. I know it. I'm too big. I know I'm going to die." And they had the big heavy duty scales and everything there, and they weighed me, and I think I weighed around, I want to say it was around 615 pounds somewhere now. I know it was over 600 pounds. And I was like, I'm going to die. You know, there's no way I can keep going like this, you know. And there's like, well, there's nothing we can do. So I called my mom, and she came and got me. And I went back home and stayed with her for a little while. And I talked to Pierce Trucking, and I told them, I said, I can't get back in a truck. And I didn't get a ticket. I wasn't at fault or anything like that. There was nothing I could do. I did everything I could do to keep from killing somebody. But I didn't want to get back in a truck. I was just too big. I was just miserable. And so I stayed there with my mother for a few months. And I got a job working for Sally Mae, doing, they process student loans for kids going to college and stuff. And during the summer months, this is when their busiest time. So I got a job in the summer of 2006, there in Mariana at the old Walmart there in town. They set up a makeshift call center and hire extra people to come in and work. I did a pretty good job, and they offered me a permanent position. And but I'd have to go to Lynn Haven and work out of Lynn Haven, Florida down there. So I kept the job, and I by now I'd gotten an apartment, and I was commuting back and forth from Mariana to Lynn Haven and back and forth every day. And that's like over 100-mile round trip, you know. So eventually I go ahead and got an apartment down in Panama City, and was staying down there. That way I didn't have to so far to commute. And I'm still huge. I'm big. I'm 600, between 550 and 600 by now. And because once I came off the road, I started eating a little better, not so unhealthy and not so much, you know. So I lost some weight, not much. But then when I got down there to Panama City, it was like I was trapped in an apartment. You know, I had two big old projection, like big screen TVs. They're like 60 inches, you know. It's the old ones. They were cheap back then because people were getting rid of them, going to flat screens and stuff. So I had those, and I had a couple other little TVs. So I had like 4 TVs, and I'm sitting there with that and my laptop and playing on the internet and just watching TV and eating. You know, when I wasn't doing that, I was at work. So I wasn't doing anything healthy to help myself. You know, I was still on the decline. I mean, when I was at my mom's, I kind of leveled out. And then when I moved in by myself again, I started going back down again, you know, and just getting worse. And so, you know, I'm back up around 600 pounds. So I can't hardly even walk more than 50 feet. Can't get around at all. I live right across the street from a Winn-Dixie down there. And I would go real late at night, you know, to get groceries before they close. And then I'd get in a little shopping buggy thing. I'd drive around and do all my shopping in the store, and, you know, because I couldn't walk around the store. And it was a miserable life. It was. And finally, The Biggest Loser was going on. It was a big thing back then. So I had made a video to try to see if I could get on The Biggest Loser. And I sent it in. And they replied back. They said, you know, we don't want you for The Biggest Loser show, but we do have this new show coming out. And I forgot the name of it now, but it was where they would go to your house and train you to eat right, and how to cook for yourself, how to eat healthy, and how to exercise and everything. But you had to commit to it. I think it was like 6 weeks or something. You had to take off from work and just do that. And you probably seen this show back then. I forgot the name of it now, but Jillian Michaels, I think, was in it. She went to people's houses and stuff. I can't remember if Bob went or not, but I remember Jillian did. Anyway, so I had the chance to go on that show. At the same time, the company I'm working for now, Sally Mae, their health insurance will cover gastric bypass surgery. Because I tried to get it when I was working for MSJ Pierce up in Alabama, but Alabama Blue Cross Blue Shield would not cover it. They just assume you die or get diabetes or heart disease or whatever. They don't care. They're not going to pay $10,000, $15,000 to save your life when they can pay hundreds of thousands of dollars to keep you living in misery. Makes a lot of sense, don't it? So anyway, by now I got Sally Mae, Blue Cross Blue Shield. I want to say it's, I can't remember if it was Arizona, California. It wasn't local. It wasn't Florida or anything like that. It was out of another state. So anyway, they would cover it. So I went and saw a doctor over in Pensacola Baptist Hospital. Man, this guy is just amazing. He is totally amazing. His name is John David Nye, N-Y-E. Wonderful man, great man. He's retired now, but he was my saving grace. He really was. Him and his wife, Rose, they both talked to me, worked with me, got me approved for my insurance for the gastric bypass surgery. I mean, lickety split. I couldn't believe it. And at the same time, I had this opportunity to go be on TV and do that show. But if I do the show, I can't have the gastric bypass surgery. So it's either go on the show and do that, or have the gastric bypass surgery. What do I do? It's a tough decision. It's a life-changing decision. One way, you know, may hip you out, may get famous or something. The other way may work. What do you do? So I had to think about it. You know, it took me a couple of days to figure it out. So I tell you what, you come back for episode 10 and we'll find out what I did. And the decision I made that changed my life and saved my life. Yeah, at the same time, helped me meet a wonderful woman. Bo Cephas. You like Bo Cephas? He does a little dance, Born to Boogie, but his batteries are dead. Abby. That's our little baby girl, Abby. Teresa painted that. You can't hardly see her because she's so black. Anyway, thank y'all for watching. I'm sorry it took me a month to get this episode out. I'll try not to make it take so long for the next episode, I promise. But anyway, thank y'all so much for watching, liking, commenting, subscribing. I really appreciate all the great comments I get and all the good feedback and everything. I love hearing people's stories, how they kind of are similar to mine. So thank y'all so much. I really appreciate it. And I hope y'all will come back for episode 10. All right, we'll talk to y'all later. Be safe.